Good afternoon. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional lands of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Iyethka, Nakota, Wiskautabay Nations of Chiniki, Bearspaw, Goodstoney, and the Tsuut'ina Nation. Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, including the Battle River Territory. We recognize and thank all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have lived on and cared for this land for generations. Thank you for joining us. Today we have an update on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. We will be hearing from General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We will hear their remarks, and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions after. We ask that you keep your questions limited to one question and one follow-up. I will now turn the podium over to General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Thompson, General Manager of Infrastructure Services. As we begin our third week of planned reinforcement work on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main, I want to start by thanking Calgarians and our neighbours in Airdrie, Chestermere, Strathmore and Tsuut'ina Nation for continuing to take action to reduce your water use. You are knocking it out of the park. We know this hasn't been easy, but your everyday actions to reduce water use are making a huge difference. Your efforts are what allow our crews to carry out this important work, ensuring we can respond to situations that arise and help us to keep water flowing to your taps. Yesterday, our total water use was 504 million litres. This puts us just in the red zone, but there's a twist. On Sunday, crews completed repairs to a valve at the Shaganappi pump station, and we were able to fill that section of the pipe. This refilling used about 5 million litres, which means you only used 499 million litres. We're taking this as a win. Thank you for keeping up the great work. And while refilling this one part of the feeder main is a step in the right direction, we still have a way to go before our work is done. We can't return the feeder main to service until all the reinforcement work is complete, which is why we still need everyone to keep taking action to reduce water use. Staying in the green zone helps ensure as a community that we have enough water in our underground storage tanks to respond to unexpected issues or emergencies should they arise. As a reminder, our goal is to save 25 litres of water per person each day, and we're seeing that simple actions do add up when hundreds of thousands of households work together. Please keep focusing on 3 everyday actions. Flush toilets only when needed. As a reminder, each skipped flush saves about 5 litres. Keep showers to 3 minutes. Every minute less saves approximately 8 litres of water. And run dishwashers and washing machines only with full loads. Dishwashers use around 28 litres a cycle, and a front-load washing machine uses 62 litres. So even one less cycle a day can meet or exceed your daily target. Your continued actions are what allow our work to move forward safely and keep water flowing to your taps in homes and businesses across our region. Thank you again for continuing to take action. Before I get into details of the repair progress, I want to take a moment to level set where we are with the pipe. The pipe remains terminally ill, and it needs to be replaced. We are undertaking 2 separate projects right now to protect the community. Each of these projects on their own are large and complex, and we are doing both at the same time. First, in January, we started work on a new steel pipe replacement. This is the long-term fix to the problem, and we are on track to have it completed in December of this year. Our challenge is that we need the existing pipe to last for another 8 months while we do this work. To help with this, we are reinforcing 9 of the worst segments of this existing pipe. This is a temporary fix, like putting a Band-Aid on the pipe, but there are many more spots that we know are in bad condition. We will still be at risk of another break until the new pipe is done at the end of the year. We have turned the corner on the reinforcement project. We are now halfway done and are on the home stretch. We only have about 2 weeks of work ahead on the reinforcement, and that is why your actions to reduce water still matter. I'll walk you through where the project is right now and what the next steps are. The construction crews have now completed pouring concrete around the sewer reinforcement at all 9 segments of the pipe. At 6 of the 9 locations, concrete curing is complete and we have backfilled the holes. Over the weekend, we were literally watching concrete dry at the other 3 segments. As curing finishes, we will backfill those as well. And as I mentioned earlier, on the weekend we were able to complete repairs on a valve at the Shaganapi pump station and refill part of the pipe. We are planning to connect this section back to the rest of the water system tomorrow once all water quality testing is complete. When we do this, customers in North Calgary may notice their water is cloudy. This will be temporary and the water is safe to drink. The rest of the pipe will not be refilled until all of the remaining work is done. We need to take our time before refilling the pipe to ensure that the concrete has the required strength. And last week, I mentioned new traffic impacts along 16th Avenue at 44th Street Northwest to support the construction of the new pipe. These were intended to start tomorrow, but have been rescheduled to early next week. We'll share more details closer to the start of this work. Lane closures remain in place to support the reinforcement work. Please plan ahead, follow the signage, and give crews the needed space to work safely. Again, we thank you for your patience. And we continue to be inspired by how people are saving water. I want to take a moment this afternoon to acknowledge the University of Calgary. They've been finding ways to reduce how much water they draw from the city system, and that effort truly matters. Across campus, key facilities still remain open, but they're being responsibly used, from refilling the aquatic center pool only when needed to encouraging shorter showers in recreation spaces. Students living in residences are stepping up too, being mindful of water use when showering, doing laundry, and washing dishes. And behind the scenes, operational and research teams have adjusted cleaning processes and practices and are reducing water use wherever possible without impacting essential work. And something as simple as reporting a leak matters. The university is encouraging people to speak up if they notice dripping taps or leaks, so their facilities teams can address them quickly. Altogether, it's a strong example of shared responsibility, and we really appreciate the University of Calgary for leading by example and demonstrating how small actions across our community make a meaningful difference. Please keep sharing your tips, and if you have a great water saving idea at home, at work, or at school, be sure to tag the city on social media. I'll close again by thanking Calgarians for the actions you're taking every day to reduce water use. Your continued actions are making a real difference. Let's finish strong and stay in the green zone. For the latest updates, practical tips, and information for residents and businesses, please visit calgary.ca/savewater. We'll continue to share progress updates daily, and we encourage everyone to keep sharing the actions you are taking to reduce water use with your neighbors, colleagues, and family. And a huge thank you to the construction and operation crews who have worked so hard to get us to this halfway point, on schedule and safely here. These teams are focused on delivering for you, and they appreciate all of the actions to reduce water use that you are taking. I'll now turn it over to Mayor Farkas.
Good afternoon. Thank you, James Thompson. And to my fellow Calgarians, you continue to absolutely crush it. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the United Team Calgary, what you've shown us from day one. giving our crews the time and space required to make these emergency repairs and to move at the lightning fast speed needed to deliver the South Bearspaw Feeder Main replacement. We're doing all of this at record-setting speed, and we are getting it done. To our crews who have faced a classic Calgary spring so far, thank you. Thank you for your round-the-clock work and for your commitment to driving this project at a pace which recognizes the tremendous importance of these projects, both the urgent repairs and the replacement pipe. And while it's important that we stay focused, keep our foot on the gas pedal, and finish strong, it's also important that we take a moment to recognize what we've accomplished together, because everyone has stepped up. And I'll be honest with you, whenever you're in a position of government and when you're asking people to change their daily lives so that the government can do its work, that's a difficult conversation. There are always concerns that people may tune it out or push back. But instead of that, we've seen what makes Calgary so special. We've seen broad-based buy-in from everyday Calgarians, people making real changes in their lives to help us get through this. And I'm so encouraged by what we've seen. And as I've said before, you have every right to be frustrated. You have every right to think that this is a situation we simply should not be in, and I agree with that. But because this is a situation that we're in, we understand what needs to be done and how much easier it is when we do it together. So sincerely, thank you. Thank you for shorter showers. Thank you for running dishwashers and laundry only when full. And thank you for flushing only when necessary. Thank you for dealing with these disruptions to your commutes, to your businesses, whether for the emergency repairs or the replacement project. Thank you to the parents and teachers who are helping spread this message to young people, who I have to say, have really risen to the occasion and done a tremendous job. And thank you to each and every one of you. I also want to recognize the businesses impacted, not just by the current water restrictions, but by the broader challenges related to the South Bearspaw Feeder Main replacement project. You have our support, and I just want to encourage Calgarians to remember those businesses that exist by the feeder main. They're still open, and we should always do what we can to support our local businesses and entrepreneurs. I know people are frustrated. I know that this is not where Calgarians want to be, but I also recognize the tremendous effort that each and every Calgarian is putting into this as we cross the halfway mark. You are helping us get through this. And more than that, you're allowing us to stay focused, to double down, and to deliver what is the fastest major infrastructure project in Calgary's history. So again, thank you, and we're happy to answer your questions.
Yes. How will the bonus residents be affected by the Stage B construction on 34th Avenue?
So thanks for the question. The question was really, how are the residents on 34th Avenue and in the community of Bowness going to be impacted by Stage B construction? And so Stage B construction is where we're building the new replacement steel pipe from the Sarcee Trail interchange to 89th Street along 34th Avenue. And what we will be doing is doing an open cut installation. And so that means we're going to close 34th Avenue, excavate it, and install a new pipe down the middle. The impact will be to residents living along 34th Avenue. We will be working directly in front of their homes. We've set up a community outreach center at the Bowness Community Association where we have team members that residents can go and talk to. We've gone and talked door to door with residents living along 34th Avenue, and we've had town halls and information sessions where we're sharing details about the work coming ahead. That work will start in May and run until October, and we will continue to talk with residents and update them as we progress towards May.
How will the city mitigate the effects on the residential areas in question?
And so a question about how do we mitigate the impacts on the residential areas. And so there's a number of things that we will be doing. We will look at how we move traffic through the area differently by setting up detours. We will look at construction noise. We're not going to be working 24/7. This time we'll be ending later in the evening and starting early in the morning, but there will be a reprieve throughout the evening hours as we do that work. And we're committed to working with residents along 34th Avenue to help mitigate the impacts. We know that this construction will be impactful to the residents living along that street, and we're here to work with residents to try and mitigate the impacts of that construction. And we just appreciate their support as we do this. It's so critical for the entire community that we have this pipe installed and operational by this December, so that we are not in this situation going forward into next winter.
Do you have all your supplies that you guys need to do what you need to do?
And so, question about the material and supplies, and do we have those supplies and material? And so we're actively ordering those materials. We started in January. As soon as we decided to accelerate this replacement pipe project, we were literally in the field 1 week later starting construction. If you drive out to the area now near the Shoaldice Park, you will see stockpiles of pipe starting to arrive, and we are stockpiling that pipe. You'll see heavy equipment and construction doing work in the community, and that will carry on through the spring, summer, and fall as we install this new pipe and work to have it operational by December, so that we're not in this space again next winter.
Confident in that now with the work that you guys have done, that you're doing right now, will hold until next summer?
Yeah, so the question, how confident are we in the work we're doing? And there's no guarantee that the pipe will not break again before the new pipe is operational. And so we are focused on the 9 spots that had the highest concern for us. But as I mentioned, there are other areas on the pipe that have concern and that we are watching. And so there is no guarantee that the pipe will not break again. As we learned on December 30th, when the pipe failed, it can fail without warning. And so we all need to be ready for that this spring and summer and fall. And that is why we are driving so quickly to get this new pipe installed.
Which neighborhoods in Calgary will be affected by the cloudy water, and what's making it cloudy but still safe to drink?
Yeah, and so the cloudy water is really the turbidity as we bring the pipe back into service. And so there will be a bit of higher turbidity as we bring the pipe back into service. The water is safe to drink, and it will be northern communities. I don't have the exact communities for you, but those in the northern part of the city.
So we haven't turned any of the water on yet, right, from that pipe? But it's just all until you complete it, nothing started on it.
That's right. We've started to fill. So we filled the pipe on Sunday, and that was the 5 million liters of water that we put into the pipe. We're currently testing the water for water quality to ensure that the water is safe to drink before we turn that section back on. And that's the same as we do anytime we bring a pipe back into service. We always make sure that the water is safe before we bring it back into service.